Hello, my name is Tara Alcorn, and my presentation is on American lobsters and climate change in New England. I grew up in Cape Cod and I worked in a fish market during the summer, and I always heard crazy stories about the lobstermen, so I figured this was the perfect topic for me to do more research on. So Atlantic lobsters are severely threatened by climate change. They've experienced dramatic range shifts in the past 50 years. The southern New England population, which includes southern Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, has decreased dramatically since 1997, and Maine's population has tripled. Lobsters are referred to as the canary in a coal mine of climate change because they're cold-blooded, they're very sensitive to change, and when the water temperature increases, they experience a lot of physiological stress. Their respiration rate increases, which means that they have greater demand for oxygen. Unfortunately, warmer water holds less dissolved oxygen, so that creates a big problem for the lobsters. Additionally, the warmer water temperatures have invited pathogens to expand their ranges northward. There's serious problem in New England right now with lobster shell disease, which is caused by a pathogen that is able to survive in the warmer waters that we're experiencing. As you can see in this graph, southern New England waters are warming. This graph shows the anomalies from mean numbers of days above 73 degrees Fahrenheit in Woods Hole, which is in southern Cape Cod. In the 2000s, we've had 2 years that have had over 20 days that were anomalies above this average. One result of the warming waters is increased incidences of lobster shell disease. This is caused by a bacteria which causes these dark spots on the lobster shell. It affects the lobster shell and stresses the lobsters and can sometimes kill them. 1/3 of lobsters in Rhode Island currently have this disease, and it is spreading northward. More and more cases of lobster shell disease have been found in Maine every year. As you can see, the percentage of lobsters infected in Rhode Island fisheries greatly increased from 1996 to 2002, 2004. The lobster's response to these stresses is to shift northward, to follow the cooler water northward where they can live more happily. The anoxic environment and disease is pushing them out of southern New England into northern Massachusetts and Maine. So you can see back in the 70s, you would find lobsters as far south as New Jersey, but that is no longer the case. The Gulf of Maine is experiencing especially high population increases because of the lack of predators. The cod population, Atlantic croaker, and other fish populations are dramatically decreasing due to the warming oceans, and this is causing the the prey population, the lobster population, to flourish. As you can see, as the temperature has increased in Maine, the landings have also increased. This is clear correlation. So lots of lobster in Maine. This animation shows the distribution of American lobster on the Northeast Fisheries Science Center Autumn Trawl Survey from 1963 to 2008. Warmer colors, so the reds and yellows, indicate a high abundance of lobster, while cooler colors indicate a low abundance of lobster. So here it is. Huh. As you can see, we're in the 90s now. Lots of lobster up near Boston. Population is increasing in Maine as well. Whereas back in the 60s, the highest lobster populations were southern New England. There's Long Island, so south of Long Island Sound, and Nantucket. The abundance of lobstah, as we say in Massachusetts, in Maine hasn't been as wonderful for the economy as one might think. Simple economics states that when the supply is greater than the demand, prices drop. In 2012, lobster was, get this, $2.72 per pound. That's so low. And that's the lowest price since the Great Depression, according to the Maine Department of Marine Resources, which is crazy. As you can see, the water temperature in Maine is increasing from 2002 to 2012. This was the warmest on record with temperatures around 50.7 degrees. So this isn't necessarily a good trend. We can kind of guess where this graph is going to go. So what do we do about the lobster problem? Adaptation is not a viable solution. Since lobsters are cold-blooded and since they evolve slowly, they aren't going to adapt to the warmer temperatures. They'll just keep migrating north and deeper to follow the cool waters. So all we can really do is to advocate for lower carbon emissions and to improve water quality. It's really important that we maintain the existing population at the best health that we can so that they might be able to tolerate climate change as well as they can. It's important that the local fishermen are involved with mitigation strategies. The fishermen really know the population. They have the best local knowledge of ecosystems and fisheries. They also have a lot at stake. Preserving the lobster fishery also preserves their livelihood and way of life. The practice of V-notching, which originated in Maine in the early 1990s as a method to identify breeding females in order to prevent them from being taken, is a strategy that could be adopted in threatened areas. Leaders of the many industries associated with the Maine lobster industry need to work together to promote change. I unfortunately expect that in this lifetime, the last American lobster will migrate to Canada. Even if we maintain our current carbon dioxide concentration, the ocean is still expected to warm an additional degrees Celsius. Unfortunately, there does not seem to be a great impetus on cutting carbon emissions worldwide. The only way that lobsters will continue to thrive in Maine is if the ocean temperature does not rise. And once Maine waters warm up, the lobsters will move away. I conclude with a picture of Rock Harbor in Eastham, Mass. This is where I grew up. I have a feeling that this lovely picture, the lobster boat here, and the lobster traps, this may be a thing of the past. If I ever have grandchildren, they may not see lobster traps in Rock Harbor. They probably won't see them, and it's a tragedy. It's important that we advocate for cutting carbon emissions and that we advocate for change because this is a scene that may not be around in 50 years. Thank you very much.